Hello everyone, my name is Lale. I am the founder of Color Pencil School, and today I'm going to show you how to use the gridding technique to create an accurate line drawing from a reference photo. The gridding technique is a simple and reliable way of producing an accurate line drawing. Rather than tracing directly, you divide both the reference photo and your drawing surface into matching grids, then copy the image one square at a time. I like to think of it as a semi-freehand method because you're still drawing every line yourself, but the grid helps you to place everything in the correct position. Personally, I don't have any objection to tracing, and I believe every artist should use the method that works best for them. However, if you enjoy drawing your line art yourself but don't yet feel confident relying entirely on freehand drawing, gridding is an excellent alternative. It is also one of the best techniques for enlarging or reducing a reference photo because you aren't dependent on tracing paper or a printed outline. You can create a line drawing at virtually any size. This is especially useful when working on large projects that your printer simply cannot produce. It's a straightforward technique to learn and one more valuable tool to add to your artistic toolbox, ready for whenever you need it. The best way to learn the gridding technique is by starting simple and gradually building up. For that reason, we're going to begin with a cube where we'll only deal with straight lines. Then we will move on to a cylinder to practice these curved shapes, and finally we'll put everything together by drawing a cherry from a reference photo. So let's start. Let's start with drawing this cube on this paper, making it larger, and I am going to use a Sharpie, a thick marker, but obviously if you are doing it, please use a thinner pen or pencil. I'm just using this to make it more visible for you in the video. So the first principle about gridding is that you create some grids, straight lines with equal sides on both your reference photo and your drawing paper. I recommend this not to be your main drawing. You can create your line drawing here, and once you are happy with that, then you can trace it down to your main paper, especially if you are new to gridding. So I always use squares and I use equal sides. So obviously squares have equal sides, but just to make it clear, because some people might create rectangles which are not useful for gridding, and it will not create an accurate line drawing for you. It will be skewed and distorted. So equal sides squares. And then for the size of this, for these sides, these are 2 centimeter, these are 4 centimeter, and that means that my drawing here is going to be twice as big as this one. And you can choose your square sizes as big or as small as you want to scale up or down your drawing. So the main thing is finding the main points. Okay, so I am going to start looking for these main points in my reference photo, and then the placements of those points on this grid, and then simply join those lines together to make my bigger square in here. So essentially it will be drawing by numbers, but the only difference is that you need to find your own numbers. To make it easy for me, I usually number my first row like that, so I can simply count them, and also vertically the first column. So I have 5 rows and 7 columns, and I do the same here. Okay, so then I start counting. So my first point is in the first row and 4th column. So first row, 4th column, and I can see that it is about here. You can obviously measure and trace this down more accurately. But for a simple shape like this, usually we can just tell by eye where that point is. I have another point there that is a very good one, which is because it's on this cross line. And where's that cross line? It is the cross line between row 1 and column 3, the end line of the column 3. So 1, 2, 3, this is my column, and this is my first line. So my dot is there. I can find that one. It is, I just count 1, 2, 3. It is in the third column and the second row. So 1, 2, 3, third column and second row. And I look at that and I can see that it is about here. Because it's a simple shape, we can trace them down quite easily. The next one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So third column, fourth row, and it is about here in the same line as my top one. As I said, it is like a semi-freehand method. Then we have this dot, which is in fourth column, third row, and it is around here. And because, you know, I can see that it is around here, it's in the line with the top one. Then we have this one, fourth column, fourth row, and it is around here. You can actually measure these really accurately. You can put your ruler there and measure your lines and see where that point is exactly. This one and this one are in column 6, and the top one is in the second row, column 6, second row. It is around here. I use alignment a lot in this method, so it is aligned with this one around here. And then the next one is here, column 6, row 4th, and it's aligned with this one. We have now all our lines and we can join them to get our cube, and this cube is going to be twice as big as our first original cube. So we got our cube here. Let's move on to the cylinder. Okay, now we are going to deal with some curved lines. Finding the dots are essentially the same. I've already numbered my boxes and I simply want to find these dots and then join them together. One of the best practices to make it easier for us to find the dots is that whenever it is possible to find the dots when the dots are landing on lines, then it will be easier. So for example, if I can find these two which are landing on a line, it would make my tracing really easier. So if I want to find these two which are in the midway of this cylinder, I just count. So it is on the line between the row 3 and 4. So it will be between 3 and 4. So it will be between 3 and 4 on this line, and in the third column. So 1, 2, 3, it's in this column. Okay, it is exactly on this line, and I can tell just by looking at it, it's around here. The next dot is exactly on the same line, only on this side of the column. Okay, so it is in the fifth column on the same line. Fifth column, same line. Now I can easily go and find these which are not landing on any lines, but because they are aligned with these, we can easily find them. So the first one would be in column 3, row 2. So column 3, row 2 in this square. And where in this square, I can align it with here, with this one, and I can see it clearly that it is approximately here. The next one is in the same column but in row 5. So same column, row 5, aligned with this one around here. Then I can find that one which is landing on a line, the line between column 3 and 4, this line, and it is in the row number 2. So row number 2 on this line, and it is almost halfway through, so around here. If I find the other one, the next one here, then I can just easily join them together, right? Because this middle one is almost on a straight line. So you have to make those judgments as you go. It is a semi-freehand method. So this dot is between column 4 and 5, so it is on this line, and it is again in row 2. It's almost the same level as this one. The next one would be here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is in row 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in row 2, and I can tell it is around here. If I find this top one, then I can easily make the circle, the top circle of the cylinder. So this top one is where 1, 2, 3, 4, and it is in the first line around here. In fact, you could actually find these two, which are landing on a line. So if I want to find this one, would be the line between 3 and 4, again on here, on the first row, so around here. And we can see that there's another one there. So now I can join these together, but this time I'm gonna have to make a curved line. It's not straight. There we go. If I find my bottom line here, then I'll be able to easily draw my cylinder. So to do that, I'm gonna find this one, which are, the first one is on the line between column 3 and 4, so it is still on here, but it is in row 5. So row 5, this line, and it's around, it's actually landing exactly on this corner here, and the other one is on this corner, and then we have this one here. So if I find the next one, this one, which is in column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, row 5. So on row 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's around here. So if I join these together, these are the sides. Obviously you could actually do these without counting, because these are exactly in line with the top ones. Then you can just go around and make your bottom curved shape. So as I said, you know, if you are really going to draw a cylinder, probably you won't be happy with these corners. You want to make them rounder, okay? So that's why I said I usually use a copy paper to do my first drawing. I tweak it after I found my numbers and joined all of that, tweak them. When I'm happy with all the shapes, then I will trace that down onto my main drawing. Now we're ready to put everything we've learned into practice by drawing a cherry, scaling this up to twice as its original size using the gridding technique. I might speed up this section a little to keep the video concise and short, but don't worry, the process is exactly the same as we've just practiced on the cube and the cylinder. Just watch how the same principles are applied to a real subject. To recap, the gridding technique is a simple process that can help you create an accurate line drawing at virtually any size. First, divide your reference photo into equal-sized squares. Next, create the same number of squares on your drawing surface. The squares can be exactly the same size if you want to draw at the original scale, or larger or smaller if you want to enlarge or reduce your subject. The important thing is that every square remains perfectly equal in size. Now work through the image one section at a time. Rather than trying to copy the whole subject, look for key points where the outline or important features cross the grid. Think about where each point sits horizontally and vertically within its square. Then find the corresponding position on your drawing surface and mark it. Once you have plotted enough points, simply join them together to build your outline. The more points you add, the easier it becomes to achieve an accurate drawing, especially for more complex subjects. Remember, gridding is what I like to call a semi-freehand method. The grid helps you to position the important points correctly, but you are still drawing the lines yourself. As you saw with the cherry leaf, I used the plotted points as a guide, then drew the jagged edges freehand between them. I also recommend doing your gridding on a separate piece of paper. As you've just seen, once you're happy with your line drawing, you can simply transfer it onto your drawing paper. This keeps your finished artwork free from unwanted grid lines. And there we are. I now have a cherry on my drawing paper that is exactly twice the size of the original reference, with all the proportions preserved. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for more useful videos.